Hello, good evening, everyone, and I welcome you to another section. And I believe we've been following up on what we've been discussing and teaching so far. One thing that is very germane about coding, programming languages is that we must ensure that every time we keep on practicing. Consistency is key to knowledge. Today, we'll be focusing on Java operators. And the rudiments, these bases are very, very important. Without understanding these bases, it will be very hard for us to proceed to higher and complex things in Java. And Java operators are used to perform operations on variables and values. Don't forget, I've explained variables to be a storage. This is where we store our values, and what variable contains values. Variable contains values. So there are operations that we perform. There are several operations, and I will be going over them in details very shortly. Once again, operators are used to perform operations on values and variables. Java divides the operations into this following group. We have the arithmetic operators, assignment operators, comparison operators, logical operators, and the bitwise operator. Now, arithmetic, from the word arithmetic, which means computation, it means mathematical operations. And this include our addition, our subtraction, our division, our multiplication. We'll be going over this in details very shortly. Also, we have the assignment operator. Now, don't forget, when I talked about our variables and value, I mentioned that variables are like containers where we store values in there. And it is this assignment operator that we use. Let me go over an example very shortly. Now, I want to declare my variable using int number. Don't forget, I said while we are discussing that our variable must be descriptive. They must ensure that to the layman out there, we write them in a very clear terms that they will be able to understand. And here we are having 5. Now, the data type for this expression that I've written is int, which stands for integer, and they store whole number. Basically, they store whole number. They cannot store anything less than whole number. And number, it's equivalent to my container, which is a variable. And what we can find in this variable is 5, which is my value. So on my left-hand side, I can find the variables. And on my right-hand side, I can find my values. And in between them, it is my assignment operator. So I am assigning this 5 to the variable. I am assigning this 5 to the variable. Likewise, I can simply say string. Don't forget, I explained string to be sequence. They store sequence of characters. So let's say string words equals, and we use double quotes. We put everything. So whatever that is in the double quote, we call them string literals. Every value that we find in between the double quotes, they are known to be string literals. Now let me use tech for all as an example. Now here, all I'm saying here is that string, which is a data type, is telling me, don't forget, Java is a strictly typed language. It is a strictly typed language. And what I mean is that to everything we'll be writing, they must have a data type. Don't forget, we've gone over the data type, and I explained that data type, we have the primitive data type, which are the inbuilt. They are the inbuilt data types in Java, and we have the non-primitive data type. They are known to be objects, or we can call them reference. Object or reference. They have attributes and they have behaviors. They have attributes and they have behaviors. And for the primitive, we have the string. I come again. Apologies for that error. I mean integer, int. Integer is an example of a primitive type in Java. We also have Booleans. Boolean can store true or false, but integers can only store whole number. They do not take decimal. They do not take decimal. Please take note of that. We have float. Float takes decimal. And we have double. Double takes decimal. The difference, you'll be wondering, what is now the difference between float and double? Float can take precision. That means after your decimal point, it can only have up to 7, just 7, not more than 7. How do I mean? I mean that if you are dictating, if you are working with float, it can only be like 1.1, 2, 3, 4, like this. We can only have, after this decimal point, we can only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can only have 7 digits, 7 precision. We call it precision. Yes, we can only have 7 of these after the decimal point. But in double, we can have up to like 15. It takes a larger input, more than float. That is just the difference between float and double. Now, back to our string. String, they are known to be what? Sequence of character. Now, in the example that I gave, which is stack for all, now what you can use to denote, number one thing to use to denote a string is that they are always in double quotes. You recall why I was writing an expression using my integer, I do not put it in double quotes. When you are writing an expression that is of type int, they are not always in quotes. That is the difference. Now here you can see that it takes alphabet, letters, and it takes number, take for all. This is an example of a string because they are sequence of character. Now this equal, it is an assignment operator. This is known to be an assignment operator because I am assigning these words, these string literals, to this variable world. Let me go again. I am assigning these string literals, take for all, to my variable, which is known to be word. That is an assignment operator. Now, this comparison operator, from the word comparison, it is used to compare two things. We use it to compare two things. Now, how do I mean? 5 equals 5. This will surely return to me true because 5, this first 5 is the same. We are comparing two things together. We are trying to compare two values together. Are they the same? So this will surely return to me true. We can see that comparison operator, it is of two equality sign. We are using it to compare. Why this a single equal sign, it is used for assignment operator. It is very, very important that we keep this in mind. Now, if I say 5 equals 10, this will definitely return to me false because 5 is not equals to 10. They are different value. So when we are comparing it, our compiler will look at the two values and will look at it very well and it will tell us that, no, this is not, they are not the same, and it will return false. So comparison operator can either return to us true or false. So they always return a data type known as Boolean. Now, we'll look at logical operators, logical operators, and logical operators, they can be and. We can have and, or we can have or. All right. All right. As I was explaining, we have the logical operator that can take and. Now we can say we are comparing two things, and whenever we are using and operator, the two values they must be true. If one is true and one is false, it will return to us false. To anything that we are using and for, they must be true. We are saying that the two must be true, else it will return false to us. Now, what do I mean? How do I mean? I am saying 5. If I'm saying 5 is greater than, if I'm saying 5 is greater than 1, and I'm saying this is the sign for and, this is and operator, this is what we use for and. Don't forget that. And 5 is greater than 2. Looking at this expression that I've written, 5 is greater than 1. Is it true? To my audience, I'm asking, 5 is greater than 1. Is it true? Yes, it is true. 5 is greater than 1. Now, it has satisfied this condition to be true. You will now go ahead to the second expression. Is 5 greater than 2? Yes, it is greater than 2. So this one will return true because this first expression is true and this other expression is true. So and means that the first condition we are checking and the second condition, they must return true if you want it to be true. But if I'm saying now, if I put 6 here, now we know that 5 is greater than 1. It is true. But is 5 greater than 6? It is false. Because one of it is false, definitely it will output to us false. So the output here will return, output will return false. Yes, this will definitely return false to us because one of the condition is false. And the one that is false will definitely affect the other. It must and it will affect the other. But if I say 5, now if I'm saying 5 is greater than 1 and 5 is greater than 2, it will definitely output will be true because it found the two conditions. It found these two expressions to be true. That is why it will return true to us. Now, we also have logical condition or. And what do we use to denote or? It is what we call pipe. In programming, we use pipe, which is a double pipe. This is a pipe sign. Don't forget, this is and. This is and. This represents and. Represents and. Our and operator in Java, and we have or. Now, what it means is that one of the condition must, it must, well, if it will check the two conditions, we are comparing again. And if one of the condition is just true, it will not bother to check the other. It will not bother to check the other once the other one is true. Now, how do I mean? I'm saying 5. If I'm saying 5 is greater than 2, or this is our or sign, or 5 is greater than 7. This will, it will output will be true. You'll be wondering, why is it true? Like I said initially, one of the condition is true. 5 is greater than 2, which is true. Because 5 is greater than true, it will return to us true. We will not bother to check this. We will not bother to check this. That's for the logical operator. And we also have the bitwise. The bitwise operator, we always check whether one of the two conditions, it will always see whether it negates each other or not. It will always check, whether the condition negates each other. If the condition is positive, it will turn it to negative. And we have signs like, for the bitwise, we always have sign like this. For bitwise, we make use of this sign for bitwise. As we proceed, we'll be understanding much about what we are discussing. Explanation on Java operators, the mathematical. Like I said, we have the and, we have the plus. Plus, this is the addition. The plus add its addition. Add together two values. It adds together two values. Here we are having first value, which is 5. Plus, this is our plus operator. This is our plus operator. And the whole thing, this whole line, it is called expression, because expression will always return a value to us. Expression will always return a value to us. Anything, any statement we are writing in programming that is returning a value to us, they are known to be expression statements. They are known to be expression statements. That means when I had 5 plus 3, will return to me 8. Will return to me 8. This is for addition operator. Likewise, I can do for subtraction. Subtraction, we definitely will minus. Yeah, it will do 5 minus 3, 5 minus 2, and it will return to us. So it will return using the assignment operator, it will return 3 to us. And we use the word asterisk. This one, you can see it in any book or anywhere as you are practicing. For it is used for multiplication. And also, if I now ask you, I give you a task saying that find the product of 5 and 3. All I am saying is, what is the multiplication of 5 and 3? So multiplication and product, they are the same thing. Whenever you say multiplication and product, they are the same thing. You have to take note of that. And I'm saying 5 multiplied by 4 will give us 20. This is also an expression because it is returning unto us a value. We also have what is called the division operator. It divides one value by another. Now we have two values here. I have my 6 and I have my 3. I'm saying 6 divided by 3 will give me 2. 6 divided by 3. That means how many how many 3 can we find in 6? How many is just our simple and basic mathematics, which is saying how many 3 can we find in 6? So if we count our 6 and we use 3 to divide it, we'll see that we'll see 3 in 2 places. Now we use a percentage. You'll be wondering, our percentage. Percentage is the same as modulus. We name them modulus. It is called modulus. It returns the division remainder. It returns the division remainder. And what I mean is, now using 5 modulus 3. Now, how many 3 can we find in 5? 3 can only go in 5 just once, but it will remain 2. After 3 goes in 5 just one, it will remain 2. So the difference is this one is returning 2 to me as my remainder. So let me give another example so that it will be more clearer. Let's say I'm having 10 and I'm now dividing my 10 by 4. So this will definitely return onto me 2 because I'm saying how many 4 can I find in 10? I can only find 2, which will return 8. And I will now say 10 minus that 8 will give me 2. So the remainder will be 2. So that is that about modulus. Now we have what is called increment operator, which is telling us that it will keep incrementing, it will keep increasing, increases the value of a variable by 1. Let me give a succinct example. Let me give um, a vivid example so that we'll have basic understanding of what I mean. Yeah, what I mean is that let's declare our value. Let's declare our variable. We have variable number, which is equals to 5. Don't forget to every statement in Java, it must end with semicolon or else it will throw what we call a compilation error. And compilation error, these are the error that we see while we are typing. It is telling them that it is telling us, it is returning to us that we are violated or we are violating we are violating how Java language must be written. We are violating how Java language must be written. This is what it is simply telling us. Now, yeah, I can now say, since I've declared on this line, I've declared my variable to be what? To be 5. Now I can now say number plus plus. Now, what I mean by saying number plus plus is saying that number should keep incrementing by 1. So if I print this out, it will give me 6. If I print it out, if I keep printing and printing, it will keep adding 1 to it. It will keep incrementing. Don't forget that my number has owed a value, which is 5. And this one is telling me that number plus 1. So this is simply saying that number plus 1. That is the meaning of this increment operator. And our number is 5 already. So it's now telling me that 5 plus 1 will give me 6. 5, this one will now result to 6 because 5 plus 1 is 6. That is an increment operator. As we can increase our value, we can also decrease our value. We can have our value to decrease. Yes, what I mean is that now if we declare our value to be something like we declare our value to be int number equals to 5, and at the same time I'm saying number minus minus number, I'm saying number minus minus, sorry for that, okay, number minus, it will return to me 4. And if I run it again, it will give me 3. It will continue to decrement. That is what I mean by saying decrement. It will keep reducing by 1. That is what I mean by minus minus. Now let's go ahead. Now, here Java assignment operator. I've talked about this and I will still go ahead. Java assignment operator, yeah. In this example, I'm giving an example below. We have int age. Don't forget that I said that it must be descriptive. Now, this is telling us that I am trying to define, I'm trying to declare an age by saying that int age equals 22. And 22 is the value, while age is the variable that is holding the value. And I can simply say, yeah, int age equals 15. Yeah, and if I say age plus or plus and plus equals 5, now this will definitely output, the output of this value will be 20. You'll be wondering, how do we get 20? Simply, the first value of age is 15, right? So here we are just saying that, here we are just saying 15 plus 5, because we have initialized our age to be what? To be 15. And on this our second line, we are saying age plus or equals 5. It will definitely return 20 to us. Comparison operator. Comparison operator are used to compare two values. This is important in programming because it helps us to find answer and make decisions. Comparison operators are used to compare two values. This is important in programming because it helps us to find answer and make decision. The return value of a comparison is either true or false. It can only return to us true or false. These are known to be Boolean, so it always returns a data type Boolean for us. And here we have equals equals. Simply, we can say, here we are saying that 10 equals 10. This will return to me true because 10 and 10, they are what? These two values, they are the same thing. And it will return to me true. Not equals. Not equals. We can use it to look and to evaluate two values also. Now, by saying 10 not equals 4. Now, variable value 10, we have on my left hand side, I'm having 10, and on my right hand side, I'm having 4. These two values, are they the same? Now, that is what I'm trying to compare. I'm just saying 10 is not equals 4. And this one will return to me true. Because 10 is not equals 4. It will return yes. It is not equals 4. But if I say 10 is not equals 10, this is false because they are true. It is true. So this will return false. Say, no, these are true. These are true. But don't forget, I said integer, we don't have we don't put double quotes. But if I'm saying 10, this integer is not equals to a string. Yes, they are not equals. They are not the same thing. Whenever you have any value, when we round when we surround our value with double quotes, we are saying something else. And what we are saying is that it is no longer an integer, but it has turned to a string. Now we have what is called the greater than sign. Greater than sign, we are using it also to compare between two values. Now, if I'm saying 25 is greater than 70, 25 greater than 70, is 25 greater than 70? That is the same thing I'm trying to find out, which is false. 25 is not greater than 70. It can never be greater than 70. Therefore, 25 is not greater than 70. So this will return to me false because it is not true. But if I am saying that, if I now say 25 is greater than 5, it will return true because 25 is greater than 5. It will return to me true. It will return to me true. So I'm saying here that 25 is greater than 5. So it will return true. Now, for less than, this is less than operator. We are also using it to compare. So if I'm saying 6 is less than 9, is it true? This will return to me true because 6 is actually less than 9. It is comparing the two values, which is 6 and 9 together, and it will return to me true because 6 is less than 9. Now we are looking at greater than or equals to. Don't forget, we talked about or operator before. We are still going to go over them because they are very, very essential and they will help you in your algorithm thinking. They will help you in the way you think because you have to think like a computer. Now, yeah, if I'm saying 10 is greater or equals to 10, this one will return true to me. Don't forget, or yeah, when one of these condition is true, it will return true. When one of these condition is true, it will return true. Don't worry, maybe in the course of our discussion, I will draw the table and we'll have to look at the true table. It is known as the true table. I will draw it and we'll see it today. Now, the less than operator, we can say. So if you have something like I'm saying 4 is less or equals to 4, this thing will pass because 4 is what? 4 is equals to 4. This thing will also pass. So the logical operator and, this is and sign, and I said that logical, they return and return true if both statement is true. Like saying that number equal, if I'm saying that 2 is less than 5 and if I'm saying 2 is less than 5 and 5 is less than 10, this is true and it will return to me true because both condition is true. But for all operator, it will return true if one of the statements is true. It's always return true if one, just a single one of it is true. Also, we have what is called the not. This not is a reverse operator. It will always reverse. It will reverse the result. You know, the other time we don't not equals to, but now this is just not. It will always negate. It returns false if the result is true. So it's giving us the opposite. Now, how do I mean? If I'm saying 2 is less than 5, and I'm saying 2 is less than 2 is less than 5 and 2 is less than 10. Honestly, this is true, right? But because I have these, I wrap them. I've wrapped everything in a not. So it, instead of returning true to me, it will output false. It will definitely output false. And the reason why it is outputting false is simply because I have negated. This is just like a negation. It is negation because if you look at it holistically, 2 is less than 5. 2 is not bigger than 5 now. So 2 is less than 5. And 2 is also less than 10. So therefore, instead of it, normal, on a norm, it ought to return to me true. But because outside it, don't forget, I've wrapped all this my statement with a negation, which is this. This is negation. So instead of it to return true, it will definitely return the opposite, which is false. Which is false. Yeah. Let's talk briefly about Java strings. Strings are used for storing text. Strings is a data type. A string variable contains a collection of characters surrounded by double quotes. Don't forget, string belongs to non-primitive, it belongs to non-primitive data type. We can call them objects and we can call them a reference. We can call them objects and we can also call them reference. Now, strings, this is a data type string, and here, this is my variable. And this variable is housing, is storing hello. Hello. And I want you to take note of some vital things here, which is double quotes. And I end it with semicolon. It is very important. And what this semicolon is telling us is that this is the end of this statement. This is an expression. This is a statement. A statement. So I can have anything here. It can hold alphabet, it can hold letter, it can hold words. It can hold alphabet, it can hold words, it can hold letter. Now we have method. We have method in strings. We have a whole lot of method. We can decide to look at the length. We can decide to look at the length. We can decide to look at the length of this word that we've input. And how do we do it? We'll be going over there. A string in Java is actually an object. Please take note. A string in Java is actually an object which contains method that can perform certain operation on strings. Objects. You'll be wondering, what do I mean by object? Objects, they can be referred to as noun. My students, you are all an object. The computer we are using, it is an object because it can do what? It can perform some things for us. We can use them to type. We can use our computer to listen to music. We can use them to code, as we are doing right away. We can use them to what? To code. And as human beings, we are objects because we can talk, we can dance, we can eat. These are the method, the operations. So method are known to be what? Method are the same thing as operation, what they can do, what they can perform, their behaviors. Their behaviors. So anywhere you see behavior, anywhere you see operations, and anywhere you see method, they are referring to the same thing. They are referring to the same thing. I will be looking at the method in strings very briefly. Now, string, here we have, on this line, we're having a variable that we name text, which is tech for all. Now, I can decide to look at the length of all this. And in looking at the length of all this, all I have to do is this variable, which is a container that is holding this string. This output, I've talked about it before, system.out.println. Let me go over it. This system, anytime you are seeing any letter that starts with capital letter, they belongs to a class. They belongs to a class. Oh, very soon we'll be discussing about object-oriented programming, and I will take my time to explain all this to us. So don't be anxious. But I want us to take note that this system now, it starts with a capital letter. This is telling me that it belongs to, it is an inbuilt. This system is an inbuilt class in Java. And in between, we have out, which is our output. The full meaning is output. And here we have a print. Print also belong to a class. And in this class print, we can find this out. Output, we can find it in this print. And here, what this is telling us is that we want to print everything we have been processing, everything we have been coding. We want to see it. What is the outcome? This is telling us the outcome of everything we've been doing so far. Now, all I have to do is to call my word or my text. Don't forget, and I want us I want to take my time to explain this part. We all have our name. If somebody call you by your name, you will answer yes or no. Yes, you will answer. If I call John, you look back because I have called your name. This is the same thing we are doing here. I am calling. This is a method call in Java, a method call. I am calling this. So whenever I'm calling this word, it will return everything that is there, everything that is holding, everything that is holding for me. It will return everything that is holding to me. So this word is holding. Java is a good programming language, which is string literals. They are known to be string literals. And how do we differentiate method? Method end with parentheses. This is parentheses. Here, this is parentheses. This is parentheses. So wherever you are seeing that you're having something like this word, and you have something like this, this is a method. We are calling the method. So what we are calling a function, we are calling a method on this our variable, and the method is length. That is, we want to know the length of these words. So this word now, it will start from 0. It will always, now to look at it, it will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. You will see why I take my time to be counting is that it will count the space and it will return 34 to us. It will count everything starting from J and ends with E. It will count everything, including the space. They are putting space. It will keep counting the space and it will return each letter. It will count each letter and it will return to us. After counting, it will sum it up and it will return the value. Here it will return 34 to us because after counting, we found all our string literals to be 34. Thank you. Now also we have here, we can now say, yeah, we'll go over this. You you ask, are we trying to add here? But this is what we call string concatenation. String concatenation. And I will explain very brief this to us. String concatenation. Now let's go. Now let's look at other methods. Let's look at some other methods. Now we have what is called to uppercase method. Now I am calling this, I'm using the to uppercase method to my string literals, and it will output everything in capital letter. So to uppercase means we want to turn every of our string literals, every of our variable. This is a variable which I am calling string literals because it is in quotes. So anything we find in quotes, they are meant to be string literals. Now it will return because I'm calling. So this is the variable, and I'm calling a method on this variable, which is to uppercase. Like I said, calling. When someone called your name, someone is, I'm calling your name. I'm calling Jadisola. I'm calling Princess. Once I call your name, what will happen? You can look back or you just shift your attention back to me because I've called your name. So that is the same thing we are doing here. I am calling. I'm having my method call here, which is, and it will return to me hello, which is capital letter. It will return to me capital letter. It will return everything to capital letter. And peradventure, I'm having all these words in, let's say I'm having all these words. Let me just copy all this, copy, and let me paste it here. If I'm having all these words in capital letter like this, and I'm calling to lowercase, this is my second line to lowercase, all what it will do is it will return to me lowercase. This is what it will happen. It will just return to me the lowercase. So if this is capital letter, so definitely it will return to me lower, which is small letter. It will return to me small letter. That is just the same thing. Now we can also find a character. Don't forget, I said character is just a single letter, which can be A. So a character, you can say, we want to find from our word, we want to find H. We want to find just a single letter. The index, we call a method on every of our variable, which is index of. Index of, don't forget, it is a method. The index of method returns the index. It will return the position of that index that we are calling. Now, judging by this example that I've written below, now I'm having string text. Like this is a word. Let me use text. Yeah. This is a text, right? So I am saying text. This is a variable. Don't forget this is a variable because it is storing all these values. It is storing these values. Now, I want it. Don't forget this system.out.println, system.out.println. It will return to me. It's going to give me the result of what I'm searching for. It will produce to me what I am looking for. Here, I am calling. Don't forget this text. I'm calling this method index of on this variable. So index of, I'm saying that index starts from 0. Java count position from 0. 0 is the first position in a string. 1 is the second, 2 is the third, and so on and so forth. So 0 here represent my P. 0, if I'm calling 0, P is 0, L is 1, E is 2, A is 3, S is 4, and E is 5. That is for please. That is how it goes on and goes on. E is 5, and my space will be 6. And L for location, all this word, that is why it is outputting 7. Because it forms the whole word. So I am saying the index of locate. So this starts from 7. So it will look at this. But if I'm to look at other words, like let's say find index of, if I'm saying W here, find the index of W, it will count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So this one will output 14 to me. It will say the position where I can find my W is 14. Do we get that? Yes. Now, don't forget, I want to tell us a trick here. And it is very important we take note of this trick, which is, now I am having L here and I'm having L here. If I am to look for L, the position of L here, it will return to me the first one you first see. The first L, which is 0 and 1. That it will be the first one it will return to me. It will not, it will start counting from 0, 1. As soon as you see this one, it will just output it. It will not bother to say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. No, it will not bother. It will just return the L for me. Is that clear? Okay, let's go. Let's proceed. Java string concatenation. The plus operator can be used between strings to combine them. It is used to combine strings. We can also use it, we can use it for adding two numbers for mathematical operations, and we can also use it to combine two strings together. This is called concatenation. So anytime, any day, we are trying to combine two strings together, we are doing what? We are doing, it is called concatenation. Now, string first name. This is a variable that is holding John. And this is also a variable that is holding Doe. So I want you to also try it by saying that string your first name equals Jadesola, and your string, this string, don't forget their data type. And this we output, we are saying that first name plus, don't worry, this code that we are putting, it is spacing in order for us not to have a jam-packed. If I did not put it, we will have something like, it will return to us John Doe without space. It will not, it will just output it will output, it will result. Output means result. It will output John Doe. But because we are putting this, it will give us a space. And we can see that this is more readable. So we can use our plus sign to what? To join, to concatenate, to add, to join two strings together, to combine two strings together. Adding numbers and string. Java uses the plus operator for both addition and concatenation. We can use it to add. Numbers are added while strings are concatenated. Strings are concatenated and numbers are what? They can only be added. So now on this line, if you are saying, don't forget, this is not a number, it is a string because it is in double quotes. If I'm saying 10 and this, it will definitely, this part will return to me, it will just join them together. Like I said, it will just join, it will, so output, so total total number, total number, total number will be 10, 20 because it is what? It is just, it will join them together. It is not adding them together. But if I remove this quote, it will give me 30 because it is no longer, if I remove the quote, it means I'm saying that, and I have to change my data type because it will not see it. That means I have to change this data type to an int, and this one will be 10, not having the quote, and this one will also be 20. Then we can add them together. But if I'm saying that, so this will return error. If I'm saying 10 plus 20, it will be saying, no, it cannot add a number and a string. We cannot what? We cannot add them together. Don't forget, string, when we are joining, we are using a plus operator on a string, we are concatenating them, and if we are using plus on just number, we are adding them together. There are also special characters in Java, and these special characters, they are very, very important. String must be written within quotes. Don't forget that. And Java will misunderstand this string and generate an error if we know what? If we not put it in quotes. Java will what? It will misunderstand them. And don't forget, these are very special characters. This will always escape. When you press your escape button, it will give us a single quote. So like if I'm doing something like I'm having \n, this will return to me new line. I'm saying that it should return to me new line. Don't forget this means double quote. Why backslash? This is just backslash. So \n, I'm saying that new line. I want you to print whatever thing you'll be doing. I want it on a separate line, not that I will join it together. So if I'm writing on this line, if I impute this, it will straightly go to the next line. And this is a carriage return. This is used for carriage return. Why this is tab, it will always give a space. So if I put a tab here, let me apply it here. Tab, you can see it shifts this my word to this side. This is tab. That is what tab will do, to always shift. And we have a backspace, and this is a string formatter. Now we have method that is called Java Math. Java Math class. This is also a class in Java. It is a class in Java. And this Java Math has many methods that allow you to perform mathematical tasks on number. It allows you to perform mathematical tasks on number. This math It's just like having your mathematical operator. And don't forget, like I said, anytime you're having the first letter starting with M, starting with a capital letter rather, anytime we are having whatever our letter that is the first letter that is starting with capital, it's we are saying that is we are simply saying it is a class. We are saying that it is a class. And this max means maximum. So I'm saying that find the maximum between these two things. So the max.max method can be used to find the highest value of two numbers. So of two numbers, here we are saying that max is going to look at these two numbers and the highest, because we are looking at the maximum. Max means maximum. So it will look at what is the maximum number of the two. Here the output will be 10. Output will be 10 because it will check the two and it will return the biggest, the highest of the two. So also we have mean. The math.mean will return onto me the least, which is the lowest. The lowest. It will return onto me the lowest. It will return onto me the lowest. Yeah, we are having 5,10. Now here it will return what? The output will output will be 5. It will return to me 5. It will return to me because it is the least. Now math dot square, this is we are having the square root. You can see this is simply telling us the square root. This is another function, and here we are trying to look at the square root of it. This is also a method that we are looking at the square root of 25, and this will output the output of this. It will output 5 because this is a method that is telling us that we want to find the output. We want to find the square root of 25, and we have what is called the absolute. We have what is called the absolute. The absolute will always return that same the exact value. But in case our value is it is negative, minus, it will return to us positive. If I'm saying math.abs, that's absolute. That's the short version of absolute. Here, if I'm saying math.abs minus 4.5, the output will be 4.5. It will always return the positive. Output will be 4.5. Also, we have what is called math.random. It will return a random number between 0.0 and 1.0. So it will generate number. So it will output. So it will start from 0.0. So it can give us 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. It will keep doing this all the way to 0.9. So when it gets to 0.9, then the last one that I can take will be 1.0. So these are the values that math.rand, which is random. It can select all these at random. It can select these at random. Now let me go to CMD. I want to show us some things. Very brief. Let me go to my file. It is very, very important that I show us some nice concepts before we call it a day for today. Um, Documents. Okay. Now, yeah, I hope we can see. Yeah, this is a method. This is a class that I called acceleration. And like I said, anytime we are seeing that the first letter starts with a capital letter, it means it is a class. It is a class. Now, import this first line that we are seeing here means that where I am working, this text editor, I do not have this package. And to everything that I will be doing, I need this package. Import means that I have to what? I have to call it. I have to ask for it because I don't have it. It is not. So here it is explicit. Java.lang, these are Java.lang are they are packages in Java that contain some inbuilt functions, like that string. I do not need to go and say import strings, no, because it is an inbuilt that it is in java.lang. But import Java. Now, this kind of what it does is that, yeah, I'm saying that users, that we need the users to enter. The users must enter a value for me. And the value must be of type integer. You can see here, integer. And you'll be wondering, what is this again? This line of code is telling me that whatever that precede after this line will get executed, because this is our main method. We call them main method. So whatever that, yeah, I'm asking for the first velocity. Yeah, I'm asking for the second velocity because scanner, what scanner does is it makes user to be flexible. Now you can decide like, oh, me, I am inputting. I want to put 5. And another person can say, I want to put 10. Now, what will happen is that it makes user to be dynamic with their input. Scanner makes user to be dynamic with their input. So here, user is taking, they are entering the first velocity, they are entering the second velocity. Now they are entering the third velocity. They are entering the first and second velocity, and we are entering the time. So now we want to look at the average. To get the average, we have to subtract the second velocity from the first one. So if our first velocity is 50 and our second velocity is 20 and our time taken is 10, now it will now be, so what we are saying here in essence is that it will now be 50 minus 20, which is 2. Very brief, let me talk about, because they are very, very important, why we are working with our mathematical operations. They are very, very important, why we are upping with our mathematical operations. So they are similar to our board mass. I call them arithmetic order. Arithmetic order. It is very important that we take note of this arithmetic order. It's very, very important that we take note of it so that while we are working, because tomorrow you might find yourself working with a financial fintech. You can decide you can work with a financial institution, and it is very important that you have basic understanding. There is one, and I'll be using a very simple analogy and simple expression, which is pen bars, which is pen bars. You'll be wondering, what is this again? I will explain in details. The first one stands for parentheses. Parentheses, let's not forget. The first one stands for parentheses. That means when you are having your mathematical calculation, irrespective of what you are putting, what will first get executed, it is whatever thing that is in this parenthesis. Whatever thing that is in this parenthesis will. So if I'm having, so let me give us an example. If I'm saying 3 plus 5 multiplied by 4. This we say, what will first happen here is that it will, everything that is in this bracket will be the first thing to get executed. It will be the first thing to run before these other ones. It will be the first one to get execute. The other one will not, before the other ones. Now, like I said, there are orders that we must follow, and we will need to stick by it. Now, like I said, the first thing that will get executed, that will first perform is what is in this parenthesis, which is 3 plus 5. 3 plus 5 will be the first thing to be performed. So 3 plus 5, this will be 3 plus 5 will be 8, and it will now say multiply by 4, and total it will result to 32. So this will give me 32 in return. This will result to me 32. I hope we get that. So the other one is exponential. Exponential. Exponential is denoted by double asterisk. Exponential is the same thing as raised to power. Raised to power of, if I'm saying like 2, raised to power of, if I'm saying 2 raised to power of 3, this is saying 2 multiplied by 2. This is saying 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2, and it will output to me 8. So wherever we are finding it, it will be the second thing to get executed. And the third one is multiplication. So after our exponential, we have our multiplication, which is denoted by asterisk. So followed by what we call the division. So these are the order that we must follow. It is very important that we follow this order, else we will not be getting the result. So it is the division. So this is the order of precedence. order of precedence in our arithmetic operation, order of precedence in our arithmetic operation. These are the order of precedence, and it is very, very important going forward because we'll be making use of it. Also, we have what is called the addition. Don't forget, we've walked through them before. So addition. So after the division follows by the addition. So then we have the subtraction, which is the list of the precedence. The list of the precedence. The subtraction. Now, let's try to walk around them and see using all this. So if I am to have something like this, int calculation equals 2 plus 3 divided by 5 minus 2 asterisk 2 plus 3 multiply by 2. Now, looking at this complex stuff that we've done, all we have to do is to follow our pen bars, which is parentheses first. We'll first equate this. This one will be 5, right? Don't forget, we can decide to put this also inside the parentheses in order not to get ourselves worked up over everything we are doing, so as to make it more easier for us. Now we have parentheses here. So we know that everything that are in the parentheses will be the first thing we'll first evaluate. 2 plus 3 will be 5, right? And we have divided by 5. Let's leave this one alone. We have minus. We evaluate this. 2 times 2 will be 4. We evaluate that one. And we now do plus 3 times 3 will be 9. So we've done for this. So we've done for everything that is in the what? In the bracket. Now let's follow the rest. Now the division first, that's what we'll first encounter before the plus sign and minus. So if we divide this and this, it will be, this one will give us 1, right? 1, excuse me. This one will be 1 minus, this one will be minus 4 plus 9. These will give us what? 5. So 1 minus 5 will return to us minus 4. So minus 4 will be our answer. This is just the simple way of working around all this. This is just the way to work around them. And it is very, very important going forward that we take our time in understanding all these key concepts, because they are very, very important. They are not something we have to joke with. Now, let me just go over what we've learned so far today. I spoke briefly, I talked extensively about Java operators, which operator are used to perform operations on variables and values. And I cite some examples, which are the arithmetic operators, assignment operators, comparison operators, the logical operators, the bitwise operators. And I said that comparison operators are used to compare two things, two values. They're used to compare two values. Whenever you are using them, we use them to compare two values. They are basically used to compare values, nothing more. So we also have the assignment operator. So we use it to assign a value to variable. And don't forget that we have uh, the arithmetic operator, which is plus, our minus, our division, our modulus. This is known as modulus. So these are known to be assignment operators, and we have our exponential, we have our multiplication. These are assignment operator, and we have the logical operator, the and, which we can use this for. We can use this to denote. We have the or, which we use our pipe to denote. And I explained using that the variables, these values, and I said these are expressions, and expressions are known. We call them expression because they will return a value to us. Expression must always return a value to us. If they don't return a value, definitely that means they are not expressions. So they must return a value to us. And I also says, I go ahead to say our modulus, that modulus, they return to us a remainder. They return to us a remainder. So whatever we are having as remainder, and we talk about the comparison that not equals to 10 is not equals, and comparison operator will either return true or false to us. True or false. True or false. Briefly, let me explain the true table. The true table. There's what we call the true table. To us, it is truth table. It is also very important that we know what our truth table are, because these are the things we'll be working with, and it will help to solidify our logical reasoning, to help in solidifying our logical reasoning. Now, we have, okay, we have T. T, it is used to denote our true, right? We use it to denote our true. So we use it to denote our true. Okay, as I was saying, like I said, like now our truth table starts with T. We have, okay, let's say we have something like we have a variable. Let me say for true, we denote it. This is constant. We have true. We have we have something like true, and here we have it will always have true, or let's say, let me A equals A equals true. So here we are also having A. I mean, don't forget, we want to compare two things together. And we also have B too. Having B, which is false. Uh, True. Having true. Here we're having true. We're having, let's say, having false. I want to quickly show us something that is very, very powerful in Java as the truth table. And we also have false. False. Now, if I'm saying that here, if I'm using the or operator, if I'm saying A or B, don't forget I said that once one of it is true, it will return true. Here, if I'm saying this one will return to me true because one of it is true. Do we get that? One of it is true. So this one, true and true will return what? This will return true because one of it is true. This will return true because one of it is true. So if I'm saying here, I'm having if I'm saying, okay, if the first one is false and my B is now true, this one will still return to me true. We are going to look at the difference in a jiffy. Now, this one will also return to me true because one of it is true. That is what is concerned about for all. Anytime it sees that one of it is true, it will return to me true, not minding that the other one is false. Now, when it sees that false and false, it cannot change. It will just return to me false because both of them is false. Do we get that? So let me go over it again. We are comparing two things, A and B. Now I have true. If A is true and B is false, once one of them is true, it will return to me true. It will return to me true. Now, if I'm saying that the second one, true and true, this true and true, it will return to me true because both of them is true. And if A is false and B is true, yeah, it will simply return to me true because one of them is true. Now, here, on this other angle, if I'm saying A is false and B is false, it will return to me false. This is known as a truth table. Now, let's look at hand. Before we call it a they, hand. This is an operator. So in this our and, if A and B, A is true and B is false, and I said both of them in and, the two conditions must be the same. Don't forget, the two conditions must be the same. Now this one will return to me false because one of them is not true. So it's concerned about both. Why or is concerned about just one. When it sees that one is true, it will definitely return true. But for hand, it is not like that. once both of them must be the same. Here, true and true, it will return true because they are, the same. And for A is false and B is true, because they are not satisfying the same condition, it will return to me false. It will return to me false. Now, false and false will also return to me false. This is what we know as a true table. And don't forget what we call the negation of operator. So if I'm saying negation operator A, if I'm negating A, that means wherever A is true here, it will return to me false. That is the opposite. So A is true here, it will return to me false, because it will what? It will turn it. It is changing it. Now, A is false here, it will return to me true. And A is false here, it will return to me true. Let's do for B. So if you are doing for B, negation B, negation, this is simply negation. B, the first one, B, this is our value for B. B is 4, so it will return to me true because it is the opposite. And it will look, B again is true, then it will turn into false. The other one, it will check again. B is true, it will return to me false because it is looking for the opposite. It will change them automatically to opposite. False. False. For B, the last one, it will return to us true. This is what we call the true table. This is just an example of a true table. This is an example of a true table. It is known to be a true table. So we can denote it either by this, or we can denote it using this. This is a negation. Negation. It is known to be negation. And we also have another one, which is using the one for every day, but as we go ahead, we'll be touching that in a more details. I hope we understand, and I hope to see us in the next class too. But in case we have any question for me, and the task I will be giving ahead for the next class is I want us to read extensively about on data type, because we'll be using it. Don't forget I said that Java, they are strictly typed language, and we'll be making use of them as we proceed, as we go forward. So this is what I want us to bear in mind. So against next class, I wish you a happy weekend, and don't forget to study. Consistency is the key word. Don't forget that consistency is the key word. So thank you and have a wonderful night rest.